Hey there, I'm Lochan, and I'm stepping into a story that's anything but ordinary. At 18, I've got a lot on my plate, especially with my twin brother. Well, he's not exactly my brother. He's my cousin, adopted at birth due to his mom's struggles with addiction. Because of that, he's got some serious learning challenges. Think math and reading skills of someone much younger. Summer school? Yeah, he's practically a regular. But here's the kicker. He's not exactly the friendliest guy to me. Can't blame him, I guess. But truth be told, once I'm out of here, I'm out of here. And tutoring him? That's a hard pass from me. My parents have discovered a tutoring program that specializes in learning impairments and plan to give it a chance. The problem is that my father was laid off owing to the global crisis, and only my older sister and I work, so they only have a small amount of money to cover it. They do, however, feel compelled to assist my brother in obtaining the services he needs. My dad sat us down earlier this week. They informed us that it had reached to the point where my brother might be kept back. He desperately needs tutoring, and because we are his older siblings and they are not working, my sister and I will cover some of the costs. We instantly opposed this. My sister argued they had no right to do so, and I said that my brother was not my duty. Nonetheless, they shut us down and told us that we were a family and that families supported one another. I realized that because they have shared ownership of my current bank account, they can withdraw monies without my knowledge. I would have no recourse. So I opened a new account with a different bank and planned a wire transfer. Later that night, the transfer went through. Today, my parents received a notification and began calling me about it. I told them it was my hard-earned money and I couldn't risk having it garnished. Still, they raged at me, telling me that I needed to help my brother, that they had tried for so long to help him, and that not standing up for him was a low point for me. Now I'm feeling wrong about this. I don't want to see my brother suffer, but I also don't want them to touch my money. Not the stupid. If your parents want to help him, they should stop talking and begin working. You have every right to safeguard your finances and your future. Suppose OP and his sister both secured jobs at a high school with little training. Mom and dad may get their buttocks out and pound the pavement till they find work. But given their sense of entitlement, I'm betting they think minimum wage employment is beneath them. Hey, since dad was laid off and now has spare time, he should tutor the youngster personally rather than resorting to thievery. As soon as you say it's your money and you're 18, you're no idiot. You are not his parent, and paying for tutoring and other expenses is something that parents do. It appears that they did not inquire, but instead informed you that you would be handing them the money. You are the moron. Your brother is not your or your sister's responsibility, and you are perfectly entitled to manage your bank account and money. Assume you and your sister are both adults, earning your own money while living for free with your parents. In that situation, they have every right to push you out and profit from renting out those rooms to pay for your brother's tuition. They didn't do that due to your family. I'll have to disagree here. The parents chose to adopt, and it does not operate that way. Sure, they can kick them out, but try renting out a room in a shared house with a young child who frequently misbehaves. Most people would decline that offer. Their parents want them to pay for their lifestyle and their brother's education because neither of their parents works. So it's only a one-time expense once they get back on their feet. OP, if you live in the United States, your brother is eligible for free supplementary assistance from the school system. He would require a 504 or IEP owing to his medical impairment. The school would then assist in setting up needed support and accommodations. Assume their parents have obtained a diagnosis for him. In those circumstances, he is likely eligible for additional state-provided support services and funding. Traditional tutoring may not benefit your brother. He needs specialized instruction due to his condition. Yes, not an idiot at all. Your parents are attempting to force parentalization. Your sibling is not your responsibility to raise or assist with in any manner. You did the right thing by isolating your finances from that account. Ensure that your direct deposit is received in your new account. I urge that you and your sister move out as soon as possible and limit your contact with your parents. Otherwise, they will try to trick you out of money. I have a corgi named Lila. She is completely healthy and satisfied with the dog food I have always bought her. My boyfriend did it for me since I needed to leave on a week-long business trip to Dubai. The vacation was extended by 3 days as a result of airplane delays and cancellations caused by a severe storm. Keep in mind that I buy a 50-pound bag of dog food that lasts nearly a month. This bag of food costs me around $40, depending on which store I go to. It's a vet-recommended brand, not a low-cost off-brand, and the only reason I can get it so inexpensively is because her groomers offer it. When I went home, I observed that my dog had gained some weight, but not enough to be concerned about, and her belly was certainly pudgier. When I came to my kitchen, I found that her 50-pound bag of food was still untouched, and next to it was a 25-pound bag of organic steak and chicken or something, with a $79.99 price tag still attached. He bought it with the money I left for her in case of an emergency. We have porcupines in my yard, so I assumed it was an emergency vet scenario, but it isn't. She needs better food. My boyfriend's mother stopped by while I was gone, which is not uncommon. She told him that the food I had been giving her was terrible and persuaded them to switch to this pricey brand. Not only that, but she began feeding my dog genuine cut-up meat, such as steak or chicken bits in her bowl. Since I've been home, my dog has refused to eat the food she's eaten her entire life. She has even begun to get up on the table when I am making meals in an attempt to obtain the people's food, a habit I broke over a year and a half ago. To say I'm outraged would be an understatement. Because of my financial situation, the $1.40 bag I purchased for her is out of reach. I flipped out after going through a budget cut and a 9.8% increase in property taxes. My boyfriend's mom arrived over and quickly rummaged through her pocketbook, grabbing steak chunks for my dog. I've always been clear that there should be no table scraps. The dog show was the icing on the cake. I flipped. Now I seem wholly insane and have been labeled a mad moron, not the imbecile. As someone who has a dog with severe food allergies, I would be outraged. I spend hundreds of dollars on allergy medicines and am cautious about what my dog eats. So if someone decided it wasn't good enough and modified it without my consent, I'd be outraged. Furthermore, allowing a dog to get away with something you say no to leads them to test the boundaries again. They wrecked your training, which took time and work to develop. Thus, that is not acceptable. If you become pregnant, your mother-in-law will undoubtedly overstep boundaries with your child, like she did with your dog. She appears to be highly dominating and insists on getting her way. She didn't even consider whether the dog enjoyed the food. She believed it was terrible, so the healthy dog needed something better, even if he was perfectly content with his existing meal. Yes, wait until you have children with your mother-in-law. She's a unique person. This is a prospective grandmother who doesn't care what mom wants for the kids, and a father who will do anything his mother wants him to. I am a 34-year-old guy with a tween daughter named Amaya. She is a beautiful child. I met Amaya's mother and tried to get to know her, as her father was not present and did not want to be involved. So on the day of our wedding, I officially adopted her and shocked her, informing her that I was now her father and she was my daughter. Amaya is generally a very busy child, but with the worldwide issue and now summer break, I've seen that she will sit on the couch all day, watching TV and playing computer games. As a result, she is gaining significant weight. Are you enjoying the story so far? Please show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's dive back into the story. I discussed it with my wife, but she says Amaya is okay and it's summer so she can watch TV and eat junk food. I understand it, but I don't want Amaya to develop unhealthy habits. So I made the father-daughter stroll to get her moving a little. We spent 30 minutes talking about the day, what was going on, and what we wanted to do. I gradually increased my pace from walking to jogging and ultimately running. Amaya struggled at first, but she is now able to keep up with me. I enjoy it because she gets a bit of exercise every day, and I get to spend time with her. Well, my wife is not pleased. She approached me claiming I fat-shamed our daughter and forced her to exercise as a child. Children are supposed to watch television and eat junk food. She encourages Amaya to binge-watch TV, buys her favorite snacks, and tells her she doesn't need to join me for a run. She accuses me of attempting to impose my living choices on my daughter, which makes me feel embarrassed. After a few arguments, she is considering sending Amaya to stay with her grandparents for the rest of the summer. I'm encouraging her to become more active. Am I the idiot? Not the imbecile. How come you're going for a run and forcing her to adopt healthy habits when her mother is buying her junk food? You did not fat shame her. Instead, you planned an activity for the two of you to undertake together. And unless you omitted essential details, she enjoys it. So unless she has to be coerced into running with you and despises it, you are not wrong. The best thing you can do for your child is encourage them to live a healthy, active lifestyle. Your wife sucks here. Purposefully loading the house with junk food is a terrible thing to do to a youngster. The child should have access to a variety of nutritious foods. You suck too for making this about weight loss and appearance rather than simply telling your kid to develop healthy behaviors. Making her run seems excessive, especially if she dislikes it. Walking and talking about the day is a better approach for your daughter to understand that exercise isn't about punishing herself for the food she eats. So I vote that everyone is an idiot here. To encourage a child to eat junk food and binge-watch TV is abuse. Of course, consuming junk food and watching television can be essential aspects of childhood. However, this is not a behavior that should be promoted. Physical activity and moving around are vital components of a healthy kid. Unfortunately, your wife is preparing your daughter for lifetime health concerns. Update. Am I an idiot for attempting to assist my daughter in losing weight? First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone for their support. I hope you all went for that walk regardless. We sent Amaya to her grandparents for 2 weeks. During that period, my wife and I were able to discuss our feelings openly. My wife informed me that as a child, she was enormous. She was nearly morbidly fat by the time she was a teenager, and her parents were furious about it. They pushed her to diet, kept her out of the house to compel her to exercise, instructed her PE teacher to have her do additional laps, and locked away food so she couldn't consume it. She avoids discussing it. I had no idea what had happened to her. She was in tears, expressing concern that I might do the same to Amaya. I know my wife is enormous, but it has never worried me. I married her because I adore her. She is a beautiful wife and mother, but, like all of us, she allowed her fears to get the best of her. This is why she freaked out when I started taking Amaya running with me. Anyway, following our discussion, we agreed that we could do it all as a family. I purchased bikes for us, downloaded family fitness DVDs, scheduled family lunchtimes, and went grocery shopping together. So now she joins us on our runs. Do not worry. Amaya and I will drop the pace to a jog so she can keep up. I wish she had revealed this sooner. At the very least, it is now public knowledge. Many people praised my actions with Amaya, describing me as the ideal father. I am not flawless. I understand what it is like not to have a father. When I was 2, my father decided that he no longer wanted to be a father. He packed and went in the middle of the night, leaving only me and Mom. We have yet to hear from him again. He did not call, write, or send child support. I have no idea where he is now, and I don't want to know. My mother worked 2 jobs to support us. We relocated 6 times, and it wasn't easy. I had several guys in my life who served as role models, but I did not have a father. I promised myself that if I ever became a father, I would be the father I wished I had. I recognize a lot of myself in Amaya. That is why I want her to know that I adore her unconditionally. That is why I adopted her. That is why I refer to her as my daughter rather than a stepdaughter. She is my little child, and I want her to know she is always loved and that she may talk to me about anything. These days, children are already having a difficult time. I want her to know that if things get complicated, we can go for a walk and speak about it. I assumed this had to do with your wife's past. Her parents were nasty to her. I believe that treatment would be beneficial for her. You keep. Doing what you do makes you an excellent father and husband. Great update. I understood your wife's reaction. Growing up, my mother wasn't as awful as your wife's parents, but my weight was discussed virtually every day. I was repeatedly encouraged to ride my bike and get out of the home as if there was something wrong with me. As I grew older, it was always the first thing my mother mentioned. Either I looked like I'd lost some weight, or I needed to be cautious. Because I had become, without fail, a topic of conversation, I just reminded myself to be sensitive and never come across in this manner. Your goals are terrific, and you're going about it wonderfully and kindly. Just be sure to always choose family time over workout. You're wonderful. Thank you for being a good father. I am a 44-year-old female who has endured emotional and psychological abuse at the hands of a narcissistic father and has had no protection from a weak, dependent mother. And hearing from dads like you makes me grieve for my inner kid, the tiny me I was, and how my parents' actions influenced my life. Dads are crucial to young girls and boys, and it appears that you are the type of father that many women do not have. Do what you're doing as a father and spouse. You're doing fantastic. I'm a 42-year-old man who is engaged to a 33-year-old woman who is the right one. We've been dating for a little over 3 years, and I proposed last month. Last night, after another round of wedding preparations, my fiancé asked if I was okay with her becoming a stay-at-home wife. At first, I chuckled because I assumed she was joking, but she was serious. Finally, she implored me not to laugh and expressed her desire to be a stay-at-home wife. I asked her why, as we both make good money at our jobs. However, we cannot afford our existing lifestyle on one income. She says it's because I earn a lot more, which is correct. I make almost 40% more than she does so that we could cut back on our expenses. She's been on my mind a lot lately, and working 9 to 5 isn't for me. I asked if she was serious, and she affirmed that she was. I expressed my discomfort with the concept and suggested that if we have children, she could be a stay-at-home mom. But I'm not interested in her being a stay-at-home wife. She accused me of being manipulative because we don't have children. But I just mentioned it as a hypothetical because I'm not comfortable being the primary breadwinner. That escalated into a furious confrontation, with her claiming that I should support her dreams. Even when I asked, she never specified what she intended to accomplish with her time at home. So this is where I might be the idiot. In the heat of the moment, I said, "Where is this coming from? Why is it your dream to be a stay-at-home wife? Is it your dream to be lazy?" She became enraged and went to her mother's house, saying, "We'll talk more when you calm down." Let me be honest, I don't want her to be a stay-at-home wife. I'm not comfortable with being the sole breadwinner, and I don't want to support this fantasy. I want a life companion, not a dependent who spends their days doing nothing productive. Am I the idiot? Not the imbecile. Being a stay-at-home mom is a job, presuming the mother does the childcare and does not delegate all of the labor to a staff of nannies and housekeepers. Being a stay-at-home wife with no plans for childcare is not comparable. If you both agree on something, that's one thing, but you've stated that you're searching for a partner, not a sugar baby. Not the imbecile. What you said may have been a little unkind. Just because she'll be home doesn't imply she wants to be lazy. However, I believe you were pretty close off base. You asked her what she would do in her spare time, and she did not seem to have an answer for you. She claims that's her dream, but she doesn't say what it is. Without defined goals for what she wants to do, your fears are more valid. You do not want to be the exclusive source of money, and that is entirely reasonable. It might be tough to support a family on your own. LOL, encourage her dreams. If my spouse wanted to go back to college, I would help him. If he wanted to establish his own business in an area that he was passionate about, I would assist him. If he had a fantasy of sitting on his buttocks and playing video games while being a stay-at-home husband, he would soon back my dream of divorce. Your values appear to be significantly different from those of your fiancé. You're not an idiot. She is being manipulative, bordering on gaslighting, by alleging that you were manipulative for not fully supporting her aspirations. What kind of bullshit is that? She was not born a trust fund baby or a member of the landed gentry, so I'm not sure where the assumption that she'll find someone to support her comes from. Was her mother a housewife or a mother? Oh, and don't forget she's gone to her mother's. I'm concerned she's not the right person for me and our relationship may end. Thanks for watching. How did you find the story? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more awesome stories like this. Your feedback and support mean a lot.